where a bit of software is taking that information and just turning it into sense. And rather than somebody having to follow the hashtag and get confused at what point they're at, they can join in and watch, or and join in the conversation if they log in, because they need to be registered in the system to join in this part of the conversation. They could join in it on Twitter anyway, right? But if they're logged in through here, then their information gets digested and processed, and at the end of the conversation it will produce a report on what went on for the hour. So each question, if anybody's responded to a particular question, their answer will be logged against that question. And so when you're trying to digest it after the event, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than during. Because that's what a lot of these platforms do, is simply organise something. So they from the randomness that might occur, they give you a bit of structure. And if the tools do it well and simply and focus on one thing rather than trying to do 57 different things, then they do a bloody good job, and we go back and use them again.
So
I'm just typing in the question, just thinking when I need to put them in, because this is so smooth in terms of allowing people to respond, and then people are talking to each other. Doesn't need it. A guy came in then and he said, he's the crowdfunder, he says, "This chat is a great dinner party, nice to meet everyone here. Who's serving the drinks?" Right? So I just said, "That'll be me. What would Sir like?" So I was able to just do a lightweight touch in that question and let everybody else dominate, because as the host, if you want to be in all the conversations, that can be annoying, like it can be at a dinner party.
You said earlier that if you engaged a marketing firm, that it would take probably weeks to go through material. This is instant.
It would. It's instant. So I see, as far as this little CrowdChat platform goes, I see it as my duty to share it with the world, because it is a very sweet looking bit of kit.
Sourcing and crowd spotting and crowd chatting, you can go out and get that done.
There's an honesty in crowds, right? And there are people who are willing to be more open and honest externally. Right, one of the things that we've done is that as we've undertaken our transformation, and we have a lot of technical resources inside of CSE, right? We have about 46,000 technologists inside the company, globally, right? With a huge basis of them, 23,000 in India, for example. And we've had to overcome a lot of elements, because it's really easy to project a message out in kind of the read-only web, which is kind of, here's Dan as a talking figure up on the web, and here's what I have to say. It's totally different when it's unscripted and normalized, and where people feel that the real truth is coming out externally. And there's just an honesty that comes with your external, being willing to say and have conversations externally.
What's your experience like?
We love it. We use it about once a month. I'm running a technology transformation stream, so like many things, we're planning 6 different work streams that are all like moving at the same time to try to get towards objectives. And one of the problems that we've had is that with this very large number of people that are participating, and with the time zone challenges, it's really hard to have meetings that fit everyone's needs. And so, yeah, we rotate around the clock, but the other thing that we pick up is the natural transcript of the conversation. Because in the transformational working groups, what's happening is that we're bringing meaningful requirements together, we're making decisions based upon those requirements, we're constantly agile about amending those, and so using the CrowdChat function allows us to engage many more people in the conversation, which hopefully means if you're gathering requirements from a lot more customers or employees, you're gathering the right requirements, you're able to focus, you have the transcript, so you actually have the record of all of that, and then as you begin to move forward by doing it transparently as well, the engagement factor is much higher downstream as well.
Yeah, and the hashtag gives you a built-in advertising kind of navigation button where you can clip. But have you guys found that you've gotten people from LinkedIn? Because Twitter chats are just Twitter, but our idea was to have this multiple network overlay. Have you had success with that?
Absolutely. I mean, we've gone a couple dimensions on this. So we typically start out our transformation streams doing an update. That update we're normally now doing on Google Plus, right, on Google Hangouts, because that's one of the best ways, and then simulcasting on YouTube. And so we're kind of briefing the world on what we're doing, and then we're dropping back into the discussion, right? Is it right? Is it wrong? Have we thought about X? Have we thought about Y? And we're doing that across LinkedIn participants and Twitter participants. Given our population, right? We have a lot of people that are on LinkedIn. They tend to be more senior in their careers, and to some extent, the more technically savvy are on Twitter. But having the bridge between the two worlds is actually really important for us.
So, and then you got not only the data for everyone to consume asynchronously, but then you got the data science behind it. So I got to ask you, is that going to be, you're going to do more of that? And two, do you think our business model of freemium and the paid data science is a good strategy?
So yeah, I think the data science is where the money is, right? The collaboration tool is a means to an end, just like, I expect everyone to give away sensors in order to pick up the back-end telemetry. And I think that that's an important piece of the value proposition. For us, what's important is the engagement models, right? Anytime you're trying to affect change, what you're trying to figure out is who are the influencers. And so by being able to see who's engaged around what, where their sweet spots are, how they're engaging, who they're also engaging with, what their social network looks like, you begin to kind of peel back the onion on this, and you begin to recognize that big data is incredibly rich that we can begin to harvest.
What are some of the feedback going? Do people like it? What's your general takeaway?
So, I see a fairly standard approach, especially for people who aren't kind of social natives. And that approach is, well, I'm going to go and sign up for an account so that I can join. And I join and I kind of watch, and I might ask one question, or I might vote for people. But then what happens is they think about it, and they get more comfortable, and maybe they talk to their kids, I don't know what happens. The next time around, right, they're a little bit more engaged, and the next time around they're even more engaged. And so what's happening is we're watching the engagement metrics come up with key contributors, and one of the big challenges that I've been pushing is, look, every employee is responsible for their own career. And so having something that you want to say in the marketplace is incredibly important, and convincing people that this is a suitable forum, right, in which it's really safe for them to go out and have an opinion, even if it conflicts with me or the executive management, is incredibly important. And we have support all the way up and down our executive ranks for that. It's like, who's my HDFS, high availability master? Right, who's the one who jumps in and eats apart, NetApp or EMC when they make claims about HDFS performance, right? Now all of a sudden, like, I know who that person is, and that's incredibly valuable when you get into the micro-segmentation that's certainly now possible because of the deep analytics.
So final segment on this, and we'll move on to the next one. For the folks out there, share with them, in your opinion, whether it's an investor or a potential customer of CrowdChat, why they should use it, use the freemium, and or adopt the CrowdChat model.
Well, I think it really comes down to it's really a open platform of engagement, and you need the platform of engagement in order to capture the information. But you're not using the engagement platform in an unmanaged way. The really important thing is to have a goal in mind, and to kind of judge your position against that goal requires the analytics. So for me, being a goal-oriented person, I want to know what the analytics are and how I'm closing in on my goal. And so I need the engagement platform to collect the data, i.e. that's my sensor, right? But the really important data is actually in the big data store behind it that I'm using to actually find the right kind of operational tweaking of my model to get me to that goal faster.
We're just talking about our CrowdChat engagement application that we have about engagement and how it harnesses the data. I want to get your take on this, because one thing that came up from Dan Hutchins from CSC was, and how he's using it is, and this speaks to your digital transformation, is that he has a managed approach to his outcomes versus an unmanaged. So talk about how digital soon can become a managed process versus kind of unmanaged, say little silos here. That holistic spectrum of managed services and managed campaigns, which is across the board, what does that mean to you?
Well, as we go from analog to digital systems, it's one of the things that we're putting in our book, Disrupting Digital Business, that's coming out Q2 2015, published by Harvard Business Press. One of the things that's happening is that you've got to sense and respond. Right, and that's what you're doing in CrowdChat. That's awesome. Like, you could just put out a Twitter feed, you just put out a Facebook ad, you get some clicks back. So what? Can you track that information? Can you bring it back? Can you take this information, bring it to life? Can you then use that to create new segments? Can you test those segments? That's what you're doing in CrowdChat, which makes it such a powerful tool. People using it saying, wow, I didn't know I had that audience. And then if you're really smart, you can take it in a competitive way and start listening to what your competitors are doing, invert that, and then take their tag words or take that SEO or bring that in. You see that happening today with programmatic ad networks. You're seeing real-time bidding. You're listening to competitors' tag words, bidding against them, bidding up different things. We're seeing that with social. Those who can actually master these digital tools actually have the ability to actually take advantage of how you segment, engage, and then hopefully actually transact against them.
So manage outcomes.